What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a Fear review. We're on part 10, I believe. So we got Brzezinski. He submitted the game. He's up against Shadow Trap on Rise to Stardom. I believe that's what this map's called. Opponent's gonna start off with a Razor Mouth and a Contortio. Quick note: if you guys do want to be featured in Fear review, you know, where I review matches, tell you what kind of plays you can make. You know, any mistakes you might have. If you guys are interested in that, go ahead and fill out the form. It's going to be linked down in the description. Should be like a Google form. Go ahead, fill that out, and then you guys could get featured in the next video. So Brzezinski is going to start out with his own Razor Mouth and a Contortio. So he's kind of doing like a mirror play, and he's going to start with the Cassowary. Let's take a look at the levels. So level 9 as our opponent. So they're honestly pretty evenly matched for now, you know. Shadow Trap definitely does have the advantage, but not by too much. Opponent's gonna go ahead. Looks like he's gonna capture the middle panic point. That's what I'm assuming. And he's gonna bring out Bomangos. Mechanicals are actually pretty useful to have on this map, especially because of all the disease tiles and the poison tiles. So Brzezinski is gonna start with a Quagmire. I'm a little bit confused there, and a K9000. So I think you're definitely overdoing it with how many melee units you have. To be honest, what I would have done, turn 1, right? You have access to a Cassowary, so probably just a Razor Mouth, or not a Razor Mouth up here, and then Cassowary down here as opposed to Contortio. This way, you don't have to spend keys on spawning on a Contortio, and your Cassowary does the same thing as a Contortio while also covering this middle panic point. Quagmire, I'm not quite sure why you summed it out here. I'm assuming just so you have something to contest this middle panic point. But if you start out with a Cassowary, right, on either top or bottom, it doesn't really matter, then it will not only capture the panic point but also secure the middle one. And your K9000 is not really necessary here. I would have definitely by now brought out like a Bomangos, or I know you have access to Hevo, or even a Jinsting. Any kind of range unit would be good here as opposed to K9000 and Quagmire. Because now your opponent can just easily get free shots off on your Quagmire. Although it won't matter too much because Quagmire does have that built-in life regen, so it won't hurt too much, but I'd say you're definitely behind right now. So let's see how Brzezinski responds. Yeah, I'm assuming he's gonna catch the top panic point. He's gonna bring out a Jar Cannon. Okay, that's pretty good. You get to... Okay, that's interesting though. Honestly, I think... Let's see, let me take a look. Maybe not. Okay, the Boom's actually a good play, because your opponent's either gonna be forced to respond to it, which he probably... Well, he could do because he could just summon a Jar Cannon, but... So they'll either be forced to respond to it with a Jar Cannon, right? Or they'll have to back away, but I'm assuming they're gonna respond to it with a Jar Cannon. Maybe he's not. Interesting. He's gonna bring out ice cream. I think that's what it's called. I could be wrong. Yeah. Pretty scary ability on that Phobie. I mean, being able to freeze your opponent's Phobies, it's definitely something you guys want to look out for, especially if you lack any fire Phobies. And it looks like Brzezinski... Let's see what's he gonna do. Looks like we're just going back and forth. You know, what I would do if I were you... You have access to Poison Ivy, right? Now, Poison Ivy is great because it's really great for scenarios on which you and your opponent are just going back and forth on panic points, right? So especially with one drops. If your Poison Ivy is the same level as your opponent's like Razor Mouse, it will kill it before it's able to actually capture the panic point. So if you get a Poison Ivy out right now, you'll actually deny your opponent from getting value from their one drops, because if you guys are unaware of this, if your opponent has a trap on a panic point that you're trying to capture and your phobie dies at the end of the turn by the trap, you actually don't get to capture that panic point, which is why Poison Ivy is actually really good on situations like that where you and your opponent are just going back and forth, trading off your one drops to capture the panic point. Your Poison Ivy just denies that. But you're finally bringing out Bomangles, which is good. However, Poison Ivy would actually also help against the Venus, because I know you don't have access to Doom Doom, so you do need to respond against the trapping units. Okay, so your opponent here makes a mistake in my opinion. Okay, and then he's just gonna capture that. Very interesting place. So we're just gonna go ahead and pause here. So your opponent made a mistake here because for some reason he decided to block off here with this Gravedigger. The problem with that is, especially since it's a Quagmire, that hit against the Bomangles got against his Quagmire doesn't matter, especially with there being a healing spot. Brzezinski's just gonna easily be able to back away with his Quagmire if he chooses to and just heal it back up. This obstacle is actually more of a hindrance to Shadow Trap, because now Shadow Trap can't move to this tile and threaten Brzezinski's Jar Cannon. To be honest, it doesn't even look like he could, because they're not equal level, which I just noticed. So this is definitely an upside. If they were of equal level, then it would matter. This play would matter even more, because then the Bomangles could have just one shot at the Jar Cannon. But otherwise, other than that, this is great for Brzezinski. Now he's able to either get 2 shots off on the Gravedigger or the Bomangles, whichever one he chooses. Personally, I think I would pick the Gravedigger, because your opponent can just summon a clinical later on in the match and heal off the Bomangles. So you are going to do that, which is great.
Taught and retaught as sure as torture. Those
Alright, that's smart.
make you stronger.
Interesting placement on your Bomangles there, because your opponent more than likely next turn will just freeze your Bomangles, and then you're kind of in a bad position, especially now since you're moving your boom downwards. I think what I would have done there, yeah, okay, so when you did your Cassowary Caca, right? Here, let's go back. So right here, so when you do your oh, it'll hurry up. Then when you do your Caca, leave your Cassowary there for a second, move your Razor Mouse, right? Move it here, you know, let it get the hit off on the Bachelor so you can capture it, and then move your Bomangles up here. This way you have a range unit guarding the panic point at all times, at least for one turn, you know. Moving your Bomangles there will ensure that it gets frozen next turn, and it doesn't really look like you have anything to punish that play. So yeah, your Bomangles is gonna get frozen now, and there's nothing you could do about it. He's free to move up, which he's not going to do, it looks like. If I was your opponent, I would have actually moved my Klepto up this middle panic point and just start nailing on your either your Cassowary or your Bomangles. Either one's good. Thankfully, your opponent did not capitalize on your mistake too much though, which is good. And let's see what your opponent does. So it moves his Bomangles back 1 tile. So the bottom portion of the map, honestly, you're dominating it. I would just, at this point, let's see. At this point, I would just focus on the top portion of the map. Probably just get rid of the Kaboom. You should have already been sacrificed it at this point. I feel like you're kind of saving it for too long. You're trying to get value off of it by having it explode, but if you're not able to do that within a certain time period, you should honestly just sacrifice it to capture a panic point at least. Looks like you're gonna bring out Sheeping Gas. Not the worst choice. After you're done capturing this Quagmire, I would honestly shift your focus towards the top portion of the map. Move your jar cannon up there. Let's see what's gonna happen here. It's targeting your... Looks like it's targeting your Bomangles, which is smart. And hold on guys, give me 1 second. Alright, we're back. So I actually noticed you have access to Mount Rushmore, which is an excellent phobia. Especially on this map, you definitely want to utilize either Mount Rushmore or Gravedigger, because you want to try to clear up some of these obstacles. It will give you more what's it called? It'll give you more ways to attack from your side of the map. Looks like you're just gonna sacrifice your K9000, which is okay. You're still hammering away at the Bomangles. You go ahead and move your Quagmire back. Nothing's really been happening, but like I said, your opponent has like 4 phobies up here. You definitely need to bring something out. Even an Erratic here would be really good, man. But at least next turn you'll actually be able to kill his Ice Cream. Looks like your opponent's just gonna throw away his Gravedigger next turn. I believe you should be able to kill it. Yeah. So very interesting plays by him. So there goes the boom. At least you'll be able to kill off his annoying. Okay. And then what I would do? Aw, you almost did it, man. What you should do, move your Bomangles up here where the Sheeping Gas is. And then your Sheeping Gas. Let's see, where could you leave it? To be honest, Sheeping Gas? Clear up this obstacle, man, so you can leave your Sheeping Gas in range to cover the middle panic point. But also... Ooh, okay, Pterodactyl is actually not a bad choice here. But yeah, first thing I would say to all you guys, if you're not using Gravedigger or Mount Rushmore, go ahead and use them on this map, trust me. Clearing up these obstacles will be extremely helpful for you. Okay, looks like your opponent's going all in. It's gonna bring out a Scritch, which is pretty scary. I'm trying to see what you could do here. What you could kill off. And I'm not really sure. So at least you'll get the Sheeping Gas part, but your opponent will easily just kill it off with the Muffin Top. I think you'll be able to kill his Klepto here at least. Yeah. Which is good. Okay, and then you'll be able to capture the panic point. Okay, at this point in time... Oh. Okay. Right there, wow, this isn't a bad play, right? Having your Quagmire and Jar Cannon jump the Bomangles. You're actually wasting time here. You have 2 phobies down here and he's just keeping you idle with the Bomangles. Whereas the top portion of your map needs more help. So I think right there, instead of attacking the Bomangles, I would have just left and then sent your reinforcements towards the top of the map. Now, the trap did kill your Cowbell, which is a bit unfortunate. But it doesn't really matter because you didn't want that Cowbell alive. You wanna be able to summon like tougher phobies next turn. And your opponent here, he's just making mistakes. He's throwing away his phobies. Like, I don't know why he threw away his Venus Flytrap here. He just put it in the range of enemy line of sight for no real good reason. Alright, so he finally got rid of his thing. I would bring out, let's see. at this point, since you got rid of his it's not called Spark, Zappy, bring out the Hevo. Yeah, okay, good. And then place him right here. Yeah, alright, that's good. Okay, that's also good, man. Just keep applying pressure up on the upside of the map. I mean, this game is pretty much over. Your opponent, he committed too hard and he just couldn't break through your defenses. They were, overall, you did play this match good. You just made some slight mistakes that if you're able to perfect on them, you should be able to win these matches a lot smoother. Your opponent, really, his mistakes were, he kept talking to the Quagmire, but he didn't do significant enough damage that it would matter. So he was really just wasting his time on the bottom portion of the map. And then the top, I would say he just went and he should have left whenever he had a chance. But
the harder they fall.
I mean, this match is over, so there's not much else I could say in terms of mistakes. But we'll just go ahead and recap. So I'd say you just have to work on your positioning. You always, for the most part, want some sort of range unit covering a popular panic point. So typically those will be ones in the middle of the map. For instance, throughout this whole match, you could have just left your Bomingos up here with the Bachelors. It would have kept it safe for the most part, while also looking over this panic point. And then on this map especially, you definitely want to use a Gravedigger or a Mount Crushmore just to help get rid of these obstacles, give you more tiles that you could damage your opponent from, give you more angles per se, you know? But I mean, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. It's a pretty long match, so we'll go ahead do only this video for the free review. Again, if you guys do want to be featured, go ahead and fill out the form. It's in the description. And yeah, I want to thank Presentgy for submitting his game, and I hope I gave you some tips, you know, to help improve your games. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, go ahead, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Their anxiety grows. Look at their heart beating with panic.